Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Friday, December 11, 2020. Fox report. Argentina's lower house passes bill legalizing abortion. Lawmakers in Argentina's lower house on Friday passed a bill that would legalize abortion in most cases, a proposal from President Alberto Fernandez in response to long-sought demands from women's rights activists. The bill, which needs approval from the country's Senate in a debate expected before the end of the year, allows for voluntary abortions to be carried out up to the 14th week of pregnancy.
Fox report. Long Island's Gilgo Beach serial killer case remains unsolved 10 years later. The search for a missing escort on Long Island unearthed what has become known as the Gilgo Beach serial killer cold case, but 10 years later, it remains unsolved with no arrests. The case began Dec. 11, 2010, with the discovery of a woman's remains off Ocean Parkway near the Robert Moses Causeway Bridge leading to Fire Island. Further digging nearby would turn up the remains of 3 other women and the bodies of 6 others 4 months later further along the parkway.
BBC report. Mike Lee, lone U.S. Senator blocks women's and Latino museums. Casting his dissenting vote, Senator Mike Lee said they would further divide an already divided nation. The legislation received unanimous bipartisan support by the remainder of the 100-member Senate. Founded 170 years ago, the Washington-based Smithsonian features 19 museums. It boasts of being the world's largest museum, education and research complex, with the newest Smithsonian Museum, the Museum of African American History and Culture, added in 2016.
Fox report. Anaheim shooting suspect arrested after 4-hour standoff, jumping out second-story window. A 4-hour standoff between California police and a suspected shooter ended with the suspect jumping out a second-floor window, according to authorities. Anaheim Police Department officers responded to a call of a shooting at about 1 a.m. and found a shooting victim, according to SGT. Shane Carringer of the Anaheim Police Department. The suspect proceeded to barricade himself in a second-story apartment.
Deutsche Welle report. Almost 2,000 FGM cases identified in Germany last year. Study. Almost 2,000 patients in Germany last year were diagnosed with genital mutilation in need of treatment, a women's rights group said on Friday, demonstrating a sharp increase in recent years. The figure is up almost 40% compared with 2016, when around 1,300 diagnoses of people who had previously undergone female genital mutilation (FGM) and were in need of treatment were made, according to the Taskforce for Effective Prevention of FGM.
CNN report. A mother's dilemma: pay the bills or buy Christmas presents. Angela Kearney's living room is filled with Christmas decorations. The lights on her tree illuminate her most prized ornaments. The room looks festive, but the mood is filled with dread. Kearney has been furloughed from her job as a paralegal since March, and her pandemic unemployment benefits run out in January, like they will for 12 million other Americans, unless Congress extends them. The mother of 5, who still has 3 children living at home, currently receives $300 a week in unemployment benefits.
CNN report. Schools remain key targets for hackers, U.S. intelligence officials say. Malicious cyber actors are continuing to wreak havoc on America's educational institutions during the deadly coronavirus pandemic, according to U.S. intelligence officials, in a joint cybersecurity bulletin issued Thursday by the FBI, DHS and a consortium that monitors nationwide online threats. Officials said hackers are targeting kindergarten through 12th grade (K-12) educational institutions, leading to ransomware attacks, the theft of data, and the disruption of distance learning services.
CNN report. A Canadian man drives a stranded American family 1,000 miles to Alaska. There's nice, and then there's Canadian nice, which sometimes involves driving a total stranger, her 2 kids, a pair of elderly dogs and a cat named Midnight, more than 1,000 miles through a snowstorm to another country. Dashing through the snow, it all started because Lynn Marchessault, her 13-year-old son Peyton, 10-year-old daughter Rebecca and the family pets needed to get from Georgia to Alaska.
Al Jazeera report. This is a SN. World reacts to Israeli-Moroccan deal. Morocco's decision to normalize relations with Israel in a United States brokered deal has elicited mixed global reactions. On Thursday, Morocco became the 4th Arab country since August to strike a deal aimed at normalizing relations with Israel. The others were the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain and Sudan. As part of the agreement, U.S. President Donald Trump agreed to recognize Morocco's sovereignty over the Western Sahara, where there has been a decades-old territorial dispute with Morocco pitted against the Algeria-backed Polisario Front, a breakaway movement that seeks to establish an independent state in the territory.
Fox report. As U.S. troops draw down from Afghanistan, growing concern about what lies ahead. Kabul. The drawdown in Afghanistan is underway. After almost 20 years, bases are being closed, and troops are heading home. Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has suggested that just 2 large bases and several satellite ones will remain, for the 2,500 soldiers who stay. But on the ground, the situation is getting worse. The Taliban is launching more attacks and taking more ground, and thousands have fled their homes.
Deutsche Welle report. Coronavirus Digest. Germany ICU capacity at critical level. Germany is at risk of a shortage of intensive care unit (ICU) beds if the coronavirus caseload continues to rise, according to Uwe Janssens, an intensive care doctor and a member of the German Association of Critical Care and Emergency Medicine (DV). In terms of ICU capacity, Janssens told DW that the situation was quite critical in some hospitals across the country. We have areas where the ICU capacity just has left 5 to 10% open beds. That's not enough to cover the broad range of severely ill patients.
BBC report. Nigeria Boko Haram. Prosecutor urges ICC inquiry into war crimes. It follows a decade-long investigation into violence in the northeast involving Boko Haram militants. Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda said the vast majority of crimes were by non-state actors, but that the Nigerian security forces also needed investigating. The conflict has killed over 30,000 and displaced more than 2 million people. The ICC's preliminary examination, which itself began in 2010, has now concluded that the criteria for opening an investigation into the situation in Nigeria have been met.
BBC report. Deschamps defamation case against Cantona ruled void. The court in Paris ruled that the complaint had not clearly defined the case for defamation. Deschamps has 10 days to appeal. Deschamps sued Cantona over comments he made ahead of Euro 2016. He appeared to suggest Deschamps left out 2 players from the French squad because of their African origin. But Deschamps, he has a really French name. Maybe he is the only one in France to have a truly French name, the former Manchester United striker said.
Al Jazeera report. EU leaders strike deal on tougher 2030 climate target. European Union leaders reached a hard-fought deal on Friday to cut the bloc's greenhouse gas emissions by at least 55% by the end of the decade compared with 1990 levels, avoiding a hugely embarrassing deadlock ahead of a United Nations climate meeting this weekend. Following night-long discussions at their 2-day summit in Brussels, the 27 member states approved the EU Executive Commission's proposal to toughen the bloc's intermediate target on the way to climate neutrality by mid-century, after a group of reluctant, coal-reliant countries finally agreed to support the improved goal.
CNN report. Hong Kong media tycoon Jimmy Lai charged under national security law. Hong Kong media tycoon Jimmy Lai was charged under a controversial national security law on Friday, police said, amid a crackdown on democracy activists in the city. Lai, 73, who is known for his support of the city's democracy movement and criticism of mainland China, was charged on suspicion of colluding with foreign forces and endangering national security, according to Hong Kong police. He is the most high-profile person to be charged under the law, which was imposed by Beijing in June.
Al Jazeera report. In pictures, how much plastic are you eating? What's for dinner? Lego sushi, credit card burgers, or a well-done piece of PVC pipe? These examples may sound extreme, but can easily represent over time the cumulative amount of microscopic pieces of plastic people consume every day. People could be ingesting the equivalent of a credit card of plastic a week. A 2019 study by WWF International concluded, mainly in plastic-infused drinking water but also via food like shellfish, which tends to be eaten whole, so the plastic in their digestive systems is also consumed.
Deutsche Welle report. German Cardinal accused of abuse cover-up turns to Pope. Facing accusations of covering up an alleged sexual abuse case, Cardinal Rainer Maria Wolke asked Pope Francis on Friday to investigate. In order to clarify the canonical accusations against me, I am asking the Holy Father, Pope Francis, to examine this matter, Wolke said in a statement issued by the Archdiocese of Cologne. The fact remains, failures in dealing with sexual violence must be disclosed, regardless of the person against whom they were made. This also includes me.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. Recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.